Hey everyone, it's Karen in the kitchen, and I am already past Thanksgiving, moving on to Christmas, making gifts that you can either use for parties or as a stocking stuffer. And it's very seasonal. We're going to be using persimmons, and we're going to pickle them with ginger and a little kick with chili flakes. Super easy, only takes, the process is like an overnight process, but it takes about 10 minutes to assemble. And you pour everything in the jar and you just let it sit for 24 hours, and before you know it, you've got a gift ready to go. So let's get started. I've got the persimmons. You want to trim off the top and to look like so. And I've already done that even more with this one. And then you're going to want to cut it into small slice type wedges. I mean, because what we're going to do is these are going to be great for like a jardiniere, an antipasta plate, or you can even add these pickled persimmons in grilled cheese, which is absolutely to die for. So we're going to cut those up, and you pretty much want them, as uniform as they can be. And we're going to put them into a canning jar. And then we're going to put this brine that I have simmering on the stove, we're going to put that over the top. So you put more of the persimmons in there. And by the way, these are the fuyu persimmons, so they're this shape. The ones that have the pointy bottom, they're the ones that stay on the tree forever before they ripen. Those are called hachia. But you want the fuyu, and these are the types you can eat the skin. So these are like apples, so that's why I'm not peeling them. And with the pickling, it helps kind of with the acid, it breaks down the fiber somewhat, and but still has a nice crunch. One thing that's great about persimmons is that they are high in fiber. They're also super high in vitamin A, and they're just great this time of year. So we're going to put the rest into the jar, and then I'm going to pour in my mixture from the stove. But let me tell you what's in that. I've got apple cider vinegar. You can either use apple cider vinegar by itself or a combination of apple cider and rice vinegar. Now, if you use the seasoned rice vinegar, that is filled with sugar. So make sure that you cut back on the sugar that we would normally put into the jar, especially if you're just using apple cider vinegar. So the rice vinegar I'm using is unseasoned, so I am going to use the full amount of sugar. And what I've done is I like to use either, sometimes I'll use coconut sugar, and in this case, because the apple cider vinegar is brown, it really doesn't make that much difference as far as color goes. But if you're using rice vinegar and you don't want it to have a brown hue to mix with the orange, then I would probably stick with regular cane sugar. I ran out of sugar, so I have already put that in the brine, and I think you understand how to, scoop out a tablespoon of sugar. I don't need to necessarily go through that step, but just know that I put that in the brine, and we're going to pour that over the top. So you've got 1 cup of the vinegar, 3 tablespoons of the sugar, and now we're going to take ginger, and I have a trusty little tip for you here on how to peel ginger. So you just take a measuring spoon, usually the metal ones are best, and you just cut it back, peel it back like so. And then you don't waste it. Like sometimes I cut off with a knife, and I find that I'm wasting a lot of the good flesh that's inside. So now this is ready to grate, and we've got our trusty microplane, and we'll just grate about 1 inch or so. So that would end up being a teaspoon or plus. I like to add a little bit more, and it gets caught up in here. So you just get that out and then put that into your brine as well. And then we're going to take about a teaspoon of kosher salt. Going to sprinkle that into the brine as well. And then about 1 or 2 shakes of red pepper chili flakes. And these, depending on how much you like it, spicy or mild, you can even omit it if you don't want to use it at all. But then if you would like a little extra kick, you can put these in. They're also kind of fun for added color. So 1 second, I'll be right back, and we'll put the brine over the persimmons. Okay, we're back, and now I pulled the brine off the stove, and it's still a little bit warm, but I'm going to go ahead for demonstration purposes and show you what we do. I'm going to take just a little bit less than a cup because I know now that I've filled the jar with the persimmons, it's going to be more than enough liquid. So we pour that over, and yes, you can see it's still piping hot. Fill that up and pretty much cover the fruit while you're at it. And then I'm gonna wait before I put the top on because we want to make sure that it comes to room temperature. You don't need to do the full-blown canning process where you actually have to seal the lid. The pickling takes care of that, and it really prohibits any bacteria growth. So we're good to go there. So as I mentioned, in 24 hours, this is gonna be ready to either serve, to eat, to enjoy in grilled cheese, to put on a party plate, or to even put a ribbon around it and present it as a hostess gift. So enjoy, it's so fabulous. I know you're gonna love it. And you'll probably make a whole big batch. If you have friends like I do with trees where the fruit is just falling off the tree, then you're going to have your Christmas gifts already made within 15 minutes. It's so easy, delicious, good to go. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.